provision is being exercised in all the courts of the subcontinent. It is not for day-to-day affairs. It is not a routine work for the judges to issue contempt rule or a contempt notice by the Supreme Courts. And as regards as I have heard from the Indian jurisdictions, 180 days leave for the Supreme Court judges and High Court judges, but it's more than 210 days. 210? Yes. Yes. When someone has this 180 days leave for judges of the Supreme Court of India or maybe the Supreme Court of Bangladesh, for an outsider it is strange, but the people do not know what the judges are doing during this vacation. They are going on they are inspecting the subordinate courts, they are doing their homework, they are editing their judgments, they are studying, they are equipping themselves. There are many works, both administrative and judicial works. Not a single judge is sitting idle. Not a single day. Only if someone comes outside the country for a week or so, perhaps he can have a safe holiday. If he is in the jurisdiction, he is working. Either he is in Pakistan or India or in Bangladesh. This is the situation. This is within the atmosphere within which the judges in the subcontinent have been working. It is these days that where normally we judges we don't go for outside while inspecting the courts when the court is in session. During the vacation, when the High Court is in vacation, the judges are assigned to the district courts for inspection. Unless there is a special need, maybe a special complaint against a particular judge, as raised by Professor Said. So it is easy something to say from outside, but if you are very much in the process, it is difficult to say how to cut down those privileges of the judges. And a judgment is a research paper. One has to work hard. When I was in the bar, as a barrister and advocate, I had accepted the brief. I argued before the court, either for the appellant or the respondent, plaintiff or the defendant, petitioner or the opposite party, and that's the end of it. But what about the poor judge who has had both the parties? He has to dispense justice in accordance with law. He has to digest everything. He has to make a balance between the conflicting parties, between the conflicting issues, and it requires time, proper study to make a balance. So I believe only amendment of law is not sufficient. As suggested by Professor Said, the laws in India, so far my knowledge goes, and also in my country, is quite sufficient. It is the implementation, how you implement it. And there are many tribunals also in India and also in my country. It depends cooperation of both the bar and the bench. If the bar were praised for frequent, for frivolous adjournment, and the court merely allows it, definitely there will be long custody for an accused person. We have some other difficulties about the logistic support in the courts. number of judges, courtrooms, and also other staffs, adequate number of staffs are required to be appointed. All these are the factors to be taken into consideration. It is difficult for a judge to convict someone unless someone is proved guilty beyond all reasonable doubt, you see. So maybe someone is guilty of an offense of narcotics, but if the prosecution fails to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt, can a judge convict him? Morally, well, I feel it's very bad offense. It hurts everybody's. But when you are working as a judge, you are dispensing justice in accordance with law and law only. You have to see. It is not for the accused to disprove that he is not guilty. It is for the prosecution. Burden is on the prosecution, as in England, where we inherited the same judicial system in our subcontinent. So unless the prosecution proves the case, a judge cannot convict an accused. So for this reason, proper investigation is required. Materials must be placed before the court, both oral and documented evidence, as well as some other material exhibits before the court, according to the nature of a particular case. I believe that nothing is wrong in the system under which we have been working in the subcontinent. I can say with full responsibility at my command, under the Constitution, in our country, we have been trying our best to dispense justice in accordance with law under the constitutional provisions. And in recent past, about the long history, since 1971, there was only one case of Supreme Judicial Council about a judge who was removed by the Supreme Judicial Council. It is easy to lodge a complaint against a sitting judge. A judge cannot defend himself. He cannot make a public statement like any other citizen. He cannot address the press. He cannot make any statement publicly. He has many limitations. And within this framework, since 1971, there was only one case in my country of Supreme Judicial Council. And there are some cases in India, successfully removed some of the delinquent judges. And we were able to remove one of our delinquent judges in such a long period of time. If there is an allegation against a judge, either he is from the subordinate judiciary or from the High Court Division or the Supreme Court, definitely competent authorities are there. In my country, the Supreme Judicial Council for the judges of the Supreme Court, High Court Division and the Appellate Division. And for the subordinate judiciaries, the High Court Division as the controlling authority under the Constitution, they are dealing with it. We are facing some problems and we are dealing with it. We don't find any difficulty. And the system is working quite smoothly. About judicial reform, of course, much have been spoken in recent past, and what I feel that judicial reform is required. No one can dispute this, but in a single day it cannot be done. In my country, we have law commission and other research workers are doing on that, and from their recommendations we are trying to improve our system. About the backlog of cases, delay in disposing cases, nowadays we have also amended our civil procedure code. And also some other laws, and mostly we have accepted the alternative dispute resolution in family matters as well as in bank defaulter cases, and also the delay in civil courts mostly depends on the service of summons and notices. We have also made some changes, and some further changes are very much in the process. We have, as I have already mentioned, about the amendment in the Civil Procedure Code in Bangladesh. In respect of some limited cases, we have adopted the alternative dispute resolution so that people can easily resolve their case without going to the court and facing the quote and unquote the ordeal, according to some of the critics. In any way, all these things can be sorted out within the framework of the law and the constitution. And with these few words, I would like to conclude my deliberation. I thank the learned participants of this morning session, the International Council of Jurists, those who have organized this conference on accountability and reform. At the end, I would like to mention it very clear that there is accountability, and it must be, but let it always be commensurate with judicial independence and impartiality. The challenge is to develop mechanisms of accountability that do not undermine judicial independence. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice. Now we will be garlanding the Chief Justice and other speakers.